Perk, how much do you think being in back-to-back 7-game series is going to have, like, what kind of an impact do you think that's going to have on Boston?
It's not. Max, they don't play till Thursday. So, I mean, they have – it's not like it's a quick turnaround. So now they have more than enough time to not only celebrate them reaching the finals, but for them to prepare, sit down, watch film, go through shoot-arounds and walkthroughs on the floor on how they're going to guard, get their mental back together, be able to get everything situated. Because here it is. By Tuesday, they need to have everything figured out, whether that's, family traveling and coming to the game on the road, tickets, all the above. So by Tuesday, whenever they get on that plane heading to Golden State, they need to be locked in on just dialing in on what Golden State and the game plan is for the finals. Because I'll tell you this real quick. The finals could be overwhelming to a young team for their first time being there. Just the whole stage, all the national media, being under the bright lights. And you could get caught up in the moment and forget that it's still just basketball.
KP, one of the things that I've started to pay attention to that I've seen a little bit of a rhythm that's being performed by the Boston Celtics is, yes, they are one of the best teams defensively, right? Probably the best historically, too. Maybe I have a lot of championship teams. We can debate that for another day. But I'm curious, a lot of the ways they've been defending round one, isolation basketball with KD and with Kyrie, right? All 5 players having 10 eyes on the individuals trying to make the move. Next series up, Giannis, right? All players, 10 eyes on that target. Now, there's a little bit more continuity involved in how the Miami Heat won things, but still Jimmy Butler, for the most part, who still had his way here and there. How do you think Boston will deal with the continuity of the style of offense in which Golden State runs, because everybody is moving all the time, and that takes away your legs from the offensive end? How do you think the Celtics will adjust to that?
Well, the great thing about it is that the Celtics actually could put a defensive game plan together where they can actually switch everything because they have so much size, they have so much athleticism, and they have so much length that switching everything actually take away from you having to, from one particular guy having to chase a Steph Curry through, multiple actions and chase him around the floor because he's so well without moving. He does so good without moving. He does so good moving without the ball. Now, with that being said, you look at a guy. You look at guys like Jason Tatum, and I was breaking this down the other day. Just think. I was thinking about this 2 days ago. Think about this for a second. That small ball lineup that the Warriors like to go to, where it's Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Jordan Poole, and Andrew Wiggins, right? Just say if they go to that lineup. Well, the Celtics actually have a hell of a small lineup, too, that people don't talk about when they go with Grant Williams, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, Marcus Smart, and Jaylen Brown. And when you look at their size and their physical strength, those guys are so versatile that they can switch everything. I'm going to tell you, the biggest X factor going into this series is Marcus Smart, right, and his ability just to be able to be a pest to Steph Curry. But when you look at Al Horford showed me something throughout these playoffs, the way that he was able to switch out on KD at times, the way that he was able to guard Giannis at times, although Giannis still had a dominant performance, but not just when you look at his numbers against Al Horford, they wasn't great.
Yeah, not shooting as
way
efficient,
that he was,
KP.
Huh?
He didn't shoot as efficiently as he typically does.
Yeah, exactly. And then you saw the way that Al Horford had took Bam out of the series at times. So I'm looking at this Celtic defense, and people keep asking how they're going to cover. They're going to switch everything, and they're going to be perfectly fine.
Now, KP, I got to ask you this. When you talk about that small ball lineup for the Warriors, one of the things that I wanted to highlight is that when you have a Steph Curry and a Jordan Poole in the game, right, and you looked at the finals in previous years where LeBron took advantage of that matchup with Steph Curry, putting him in the pick and roll, now you have a guy in Jordan Poole who I think isn't as strong defensively. So now you have two guys that can get matched up potentially on a Jason Tatum with his size and his length, with him having the ability to be able to shoot over the top. I don't know if the Warriors are going to be able to play help defense with two guys lacking size against Jason Tatum versus just one in Steph Curry. How do you feel about that?
No, I agree, but it's going to come down to which version of Jason Tatum we're going to get. Are we going to get the Jason Tatum that put on 10 pounds of muscle this offseason, the 6'10" version that's driving to the basket, snatching the screws out the rim and getting to the free throw line? Or are we going to get the Jason Tatum that's going to make it a shootout where he started to do those sidestep three-point shots and step backs and getting into his bags where he's settling for jumpers? And I think that'd be the difference of the Boston Celtics when it's all based on whether Jason Tatum is in attack mode. See, that'll be the worst thing that the Celtics could do is try to get into a shootout with the Warriors and make it a non-physical team. Because just like with Jay, we'll ask the question about the Celtics' legs on the defensive side of things. We could say the same thing about if the Celtics apply pressure on Klay Thompson and Steph Curry and those guys, it may take away their legs as well by imposing their will in the paint.
Perk, I want to Keyshawn, J. Wilmax, Harry Douglas in for Key today, talking to Kendrick Perkins about the NBA Finals. I said earlier, which was incorrect, that the Celtics are favored. The Celtics are underdogs, which makes sense. The Warriors have home court. The Warriors are rested. The Warriors, to me, look better on paper. They are favorites.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.